ADHD. It's not what you might think. Yes, I have it, if you couldn't tell via my hyperfixation about black holes caused by ADHD. ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. All the time. Sometimes you put something down, and I am not even joking, 5 seconds later you search the entire property, top to bottom, to find said item that you set down not 5 seconds ago. By the way, that item you're looking for never left your hand. So yeah, sometimes it is a bad thing, but usually it doesn't mean that you should get on medication as soon as you know you have it. According to Cambridge, 3% of adults that have ADHD live shorter lives, but that's probably because of medication that they go on. Medication that on the ad goes something like this. Use this medicine. It will rid you of ADHD. Now for the fine print. Side effects include leg cramps, blood clots, suicidal thoughts, depression, pain in forehead, possible cancer, muscle spasms, seizures, and so on. Now, that might not be how all medication ads work, but next time one comes on, keep tally of how many times they'll go, we'll get rid of this minor problem, but we'll add all these larger problems. Also, a funny thing about ADHD is that it kind of messes with dopamine. For some reason, I don't know why or how. I'm not exactly an expert on this, but for some reason, among most people I know, whenever we start a project, we get joy from it, but whenever we finish a project, we do not get joy from it. It is weird. I do not know why this happens. Like, me writing the script, I actually hyperfixated on this, and I liked writing this script, but animating this script is not going to be fun, and finishing it is, I'm not going to get much joy from finishing it. I'm getting a relief, but not joy. Now, that's probably not true about all people who have ADHD, but among the people I know, that's pretty much the case. Now, if you don't have this weird disorder, then, well, good for you. But if you do, well, then you can relate to this. Looking into this, I actually found out that quite a few YouTube animators actually have ADHD, so that was fun to figure out. The thing about ADHD is hyperfixation. You probably know what I'm talking about when you obsess over one thing for either days or months. Now, this can be a superpower because if you can hyperfixate on something useful, like schoolwork, or in my case, black holes, and this animation script. Anyway, on the topic of my black hole hyperfixation, when I hyperfixated on it, I actually hyperfixated so hard that when I went up to go give a speech about black holes that we were doing for a project, I had hyperfixated so hard that I did not write a paper, and somehow I made a very good speech about black holes explaining all about Hawking radiation, who Stephen Hawking was, how black holes worked, etc., etc., etc. I would have maybe 4 or 5 facts about a subject. Because I hyperfixated on that subject so hard, I was able to give a speech about that subject. I actually did this on multiple projects throughout the school year. Needless to say, my mom was not happy about the fact that I wasn't writing the papers. I was just going up there and giving a full speech. I mean, yeah, it was awesome that I was able to give a full speech about it without writing a daggone paper and just doing it off the top of my head. But still, I was supposed to write the daggone paper. Okay, now, that was a case of superpower ADHD, but sometimes not always as helpful. For instance, let's say you walk into somewhere, you see a cup, that cup makes you think of liquid, which makes you think of what you drank on the way over to where you are, which makes you think of the drive itself, which makes you think of what you did before you got into your car, which makes you realize you forgot to lock the daggum door. That's a case of what me and some other people I know who have ADHD experience. But anyway, last thing. ADHD is fairly commonly associated with autism. They are not the same thing. 110% not an expert on this subject. This is just what little things I can perceive. The reason being is that there's a lot of differing opinions about ADHD, you know, all that good stuff. But this is, again, just what I understand of it and how I perceive it. This is researched, but there's a lot of differing opinions, so don't take anything as solid evidence. ADHD and autism are on two ends of a spectrum. You've probably heard someone use that term before, though. What it means is ADHD is on the far end of the spectrum where it's pretty much just there. Autism is on the higher end of the spectrum, and it's a lot more intense. Now, you can take a test to see if you're ADHD or autistic, and depending on how you test, you could be ADHD, autistic, ADHD. It's all on the spectrum. It's kind of like a bar that slides left to right, with ADHD being at the very far end of the bar and autism at the high end of the bar. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Good riddance!